This is Trendkill Toys back with another video, this time on the Patriot Studios B.O.W. Evolver, or otherwise known as the Resident Evil Licker Zombie. This is one of the zombie designs from the Resident Evil games, and I picked up two here. I have not opened them and looked at the figures themselves yet, so I'm going to do that on camera. So this is going to be like a first impressions unboxing video as well as a review. I'm looking forward to these figures. I mean, they look pretty cool. I don't know what the actual figure looks like if the actual figure looks like it does on the boxes and the pictures. But you know, we're gonna find that out. We're gonna see the quality. We're gonna see if it holds up with some of the other Patriot Studios and some of the other Resident Evil figures that have been released. I'm obviously gonna do a lot of comparisons and stuff like that. So let's just get right into the figure. The box is pretty plain, very similar to the other Patriot Studio releases, so not much to say about the box. It does have a flap that you can open to reveal the figure, and wow, I did not expect it to be this tall. That is a lot taller than I was expecting, which is cool. I mean, it looks pretty sick. Normally they are, you know, they're crouching. I wasn't really worried about the height, but that's a lot taller than I was expecting. So let's get the figure out. So taking the figure out of its box, I'm getting a strong smell of like that spray paint kind of smell. The figure doesn't come with much, just two extra hands. It's got a glossy finish on it. Makes it look, I guess, like wet, slimy, mucusy. And that goes for both hands, both of the extra hands. The claws are not too sharp. They're a little bit dull. I guess this is the tip of the tail. I'm not sure. So it does come with a tail thing. I'm not sure where it pegs into. I'm not seeing like any holes on the back of the figure, but I guess I'll get into that. I'll figure that out later. So here's the figure, just standing there menacingly. This is actually a pretty cool design. Like, I never noticed what this character would look like standing up, because most of the time in the games he's crouching, crawling around on the ceilings and stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty cool design. I don't normally bring out the ruler, but I'm just curious to see how tall this guy really is. And he's actually like 7.5 inches. So that's pretty big. It's way bigger than I was expecting. So that's cool. You know, he'll fit into a lot of other action figure lines. The first impressions, I mean, it looks really cool. No complaints about the look and the paint, the detail work, even on the back here with the bones and stuff, and his shoulder blades and the spine detail and the tailbone and some of the other like flesh parts, bone parts. The hands do kind of stick out, especially this right one. Doesn't look as, I don't know, I feel like this one looks darker, more bloody, and this one like a little bit more cleaner. So I'm not sure if that was a mistake or if that was intentional. That's how it was in the games. I'm not entirely sure, but that is something that is pretty noticeable in my opinion. Alright, so now we can go over articulation. So starting with the head. Now I'm also kind of excited for this part too. I want to see what this figure can do, how this figure moves. So starting with the head, that's how much it moves forward, and then wow, really far back. And those are two joints working right there. At the base of the neck, it looks like a ball joint. Then at the top right here, there's a hinge ball joint. So combined, he can look far that much, and he can look pretty far up, which is good. That's mostly what he needs to be doing, because he's going to be crawling around and stuff, so that's good that he can do that pretty well. Also has jaw articulation, and it looks like okay, so now I remember, it's not a tail. Alright, I feel pretty stupid right now. So this goes in his mouth. That's what that's for. And the smaller piece is for that same thing too. That's like his tongue before it elongates, and this is after it elongates. Duh, because he's called the Licker. Alright, I forgot that. Alright, people make mistakes, okay? Don't freaking get mad at me in the comments for that. So also swivels, you get a full 360 and tilt. So that's good. Also the figure feels pretty sturdy. It doesn't feel like some third-party figures feel kind of flimsy and cheap, hollow. But this feels solid. It's got some weight to it. So that's good. Shoulders. Okay, these shoulders are really tight. That kind of worries me. Alright, but they do rotate a little stiff. I don't want to chip the paint or anything. And both should move the same. Again, it's kind of stiff. Maybe you want to be careful about that. And they do hinge outward. Alright, this one giving me some trouble here. Alright. Alright. So they go up about that far. Otherwise they're going to be scratching the paint on the shoulder in there. So that one's a little bit tighter. Bicep swivel is pretty tight. That's really tight. I don't even want to go a whole 360s on that. So, but it does move. You get the motion that you need out of it. You're not going to go a whole 360. It looks like it crashes into the sculpt. There's also some red paint flecks coming off. Elbow, single elbow, but does give you that 90-degree angle and also swivels there. Again, when it's bent, you're not going to go a full 360 because of the sculpt of the bottom of the elbow here. He's got a hinge and swivel at the wrist, so that allows for a lot of cool posing, cool creepy posing. The upper abdomen here, you can't go back at all, but you can go forward a lot more. So that's good. Again, that gives you that hunched, crawling look that he always does in the game. So there's no lower torso articulation. There is this kind of cut right here, this section. So you might want to be careful about, you know, breaking that or something. Now the legs, similar to the shoulders, they go up very far. They can probably go around too, if his arms weren't in the way. They go up very far, and they go back pretty far as well. Actually, they can just rotate full 360. So that's cool. Ton of range of motion there. There is a swivel, and they don't go out that far because of the cap on the hip here. And then double jointed knee, which doesn't go as far as it should, or as far as it could, but that's far enough. I mean, they could have easily gotten that range of motion with a single joint, and it might have looked better than this. This is not the greatest knee assembly, especially because there's this part sticking out here, but I mean, it's still functional, it still works. You'll still be able to get it into those poses that you needed to get it into. And the ankles, same as the wrists, it is a hinge and swivel, and it's not loose, so that's good. No toe articulation. The toes are kind of flexible and bendy. I guess his shoulder blades do rotate up and down. I'm not sure how they're positioned in the game. They don't hinge, they just swivel. Looks like if you try to hinge them, they'll break. Right now we're going to see how easy it is to switch out the hands. Alright, so not that hard. Now putting in the alternate ones. Alright, this is actually giving me a lot of trouble. Yeah, I would suggest heating up the alternate hands before you put them on. I'm not going to risk breaking the wrist peg or anything. Also, by the way, if you guys are going to heat stuff up, like heat up action figure parts for customizing or swap out parts and stuff, get a little space heater. Don't use a hair dryer or using hot water. The hot water is too messy, and using a hair dryer is a waste of time because you have to sit there and maintain the hair dryer. I mean, I guess you could set it down somewhere, but I think these little space heaters work way better. You can pick them up like anywhere, and I recommend that over the hair dryer and the boiling water. The boiling water it's too messy to deal with that, and getting your figures wet is not good. So I guess attaching the tongue piece should be easy. I might have to heat this up too, actually. Alright, it's not 100% in. The peg doesn't 100% go in, but I think it's far enough, and it does look like it's supposed to. Alright, now it's falling out. Yeah, I might have to heat that up. So that's what it looks like once you get it into a pose. And I did switch out the hands. Heating it up really did help. The tongue, I did have to kind of cut a little bit into the hole in the mouth to fit the tongue better. And you can't really leave the jaw closed with the tongue. It'll just fall open, which I guess makes sense. I mean, if he's gonna stick his tongue out, his mouth has got to be open. So but that's how it looks like. Man, it looks pretty cool. Let's do some comparisons now. First up, I got Marvel Legends movie Venom. Pretty much the same height. It looks like the Licker is taller on camera, but in person here behind the camera, Venom is a little bit taller. Here's another 7-inch scale figure, He-Man. He's actually a tiny bit shorter than the Licker. On camera, it looks like they're about the same, but He-Man's actually shorter, just a tiny bit shorter than the Licker. And here's a Voliverse figure. This is a true 6-inch figure. Let me give you a better look at the heights here. So that's, you know, obviously he's shorter, but I mean it still scales good. And last but not least, we got to get Agent Fox Mulder on the case. He's going to tell us all we need to know about the T virus, about the Lickers, maybe about the Tyrant. That'd be sick if you know, Patriot Studios or maybe some other third-party company would make a Mr. X figure or a Nemesis figure. You know, Fox Mulder, he's gonna recruit the newbie police officer Leon S. Kennedy. This is the Lim Toys Leon figure, and this thing broke recently where his walkie-talkie attaches, or his comm device attaches to his vest. It just broke off, so now it's just like floating there. So now we'll get into actual, you know, Resident Evil figure comparisons. So that's what Leon Kennedy looks like next to the Licker. And of course, the best figure in the world. We got the Resident Evil 6 Leon, one of my favorite figures in my collection. And again, he's pretty much the same height as Police Officer Leon. And of course, Ada, again, a little bit shorter than Leon, so she's going to be a little bit more shorter than the Licker. Resident Evil 6, Ada Wong, same thing. This Ada Wong's actually shorter than this one, so. And then here's the Patriot Studios zombie officers. I have two of them as well. And here's how they scale. So not bad. And here's a custom Marvel Legends Jill. This is just a head sculpt that I painted. It's not like 100% done yet, but I still got some touch-ups to do on it. And of course, the design is not 100% the same, so there's still some work to be done there. But you know, that is Jill from Resident Evil 1 with the remake head sculpt. And then last but not least, we got the first Patriot Studios figure that I bought. Well, technically it's not Patriot Studios anymore because I had to swap out the body because the original Patriot Studios body broke. But besides that, this is my first Patriot Studios figure, which is the Joker from the 2019 movie. And that's how he scales, a little bit shorter than the officer, a little bit shorter than the Licker, actually a lot more shorter than the Licker. And I'll give you another look at how they all scale, and you can pretty much see how all these figures scale. You know, the Licker is, again, a lot taller, and I think it's pretty accurate, so it's pretty cool that he's got some size to him. Also, the heads do come off. It does take some force, and you got to be careful. And I mean, you can kind of do like a head swap. I mean, not really, but I guess it does look kind of funny. And this will give me nightmares. Alright guys, well that's the end of the review. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know if you're going to buy this figure. Let me know what other figures you want to see from Patriot Studios, from, you know, the Resident Evil series. And so I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.